record now. Hello everybody, welcome to European History Lecture 3, A World Where Power Thrives. So firstly, we have revolutionary ideas led to conflicts, and the war of the first coalition. I don't know, you guys, do you still remember when the French Revolution started? Monarchs and nobles in other European countries watched the changes taking place in France with alarm. So they feared that similar revolts might break out in their own countries. So as a result, the European main power took actions. Firstly, Austria and Prussia, for example, they urged the French to restore Louis XVI to his position as an absolute monarchy. The French people firmly refused and declared war at April 1792 in response. So with a series of changes inside France, a new governing body called the National Convention took place on September 21st. They quickly abolished the monarchy and declared French as a republic. So this war began badly for French. In 1792, Great Britain, Netherlands, and Spain joined with Prussia and Austria to fight against France. So many countries, we have in total 5 countries to 1. The French army was forced to engage with many enemies and suffered devastating defeats. So in order to strengthen the French army, the National Convention took actions, and they took an extreme step. It ordered a conscription of 300,000 French citizens between the ages 18 and 40. By 1794, the French army had grown to 800,000, and even including women in the army. So the National Convention also had to relieve the pressure on public opinion. So it turned out that the former king, Louis XVI, was a useful scapegoat. The convention found that the king guilty for treason and sentenced him to death. So next we have Napoleon Bonaparte. In the continuous war, a star raised above others. In October 1795, fate handed the young officer a chance for glory. When the royalists, the guys who favored the king, marched to the National Convention, the young officer wisely used cannons to smash the offense. Within minutes, the attackers fled in panic and confusion. The young officer, Napoleon Bonaparte, became the savior of the French Republic. So my history teacher, he's a French-speaking Canadian, so he told us that in French, Bonaparte means good parliament. So in French, Napoleon Bonaparte. And Bonaparte is what small children used to describe a parliament. So Napoleon Bonaparte will be translated into English will be Napoleon with a good apartment. So anyway, shortly after, Napoleon showed everyone his unique military talent. He had repeatedly beaten the enemies on the front line to defend the Republic. So let's first talk about about where Napoleon was born. Napoleon was born in 1769 on the Mediterranean island of Corsica. Corsica was at war with France at the time, so it was a place where flames of war rages everywhere. The subtle relation between Corsica and France was one of Napoleon's sore point. So when he was 9 years old, he was sent to the military school in France. And in 1875, at the age of 16, he became a lieutenant in the artillery. When the revolution broke out, Napoleon joined the army of the new government. But before that, he saw that it was a great chance for him to come back to Corsica and free this island. But one of his friends stopped him, and he said, "You should, with your talent, you should not go back to Corsica. You could have a lot of chance here in France, and we have a great change here, and you might really take advantage of it." So with some few records, Napoleon was assigned to the port of Toulon, a place taken by the British fleet and the royalists. And so the picture on the right is the situation at Toulon. Napoleon observed this surrounding terrain, then deployed cannons, the red cannons we could see on the map, in the higher position. And in this way, the powerful English ships became targets under the cannons of Napoleon. The campaign ended with English fleet escaping from the port of Toulon. So Napoleon was later promoted to the commander-in-chief of the Italian front. It sounded like it was a promotion, but Napoleon knows that the army he's going to command is weak and weary. The Republic wanted to use Napoleon to clean up the mess as clean up the mess as a front line. However, this didn't stop Napoleon. He won the campaign in Italy one after another with this weak army, because Napoleon returned home as a victorious general. He was most welcome and popular. Yet this may have upset the Republic, people in the National Convention, because they didn't want to see a man became so popular, even more popular than them. So they even wished that Napoleon could die on the battlefield. And next, in attempt to protect French trade interests to disrupt British trade with India, Napoleon led an expedition to Egypt. People in the National Convention were so thrilled Napoleon will not be friends for a long time, and this time he was unable to repeat the success he had on European continent. His army was blocked down in Egypt, and what was even worse is that British Admiral Nelson destroyed all his naval forces. Napoleon's ships were all gone, and which means he couldn't come back to Europe. There's one unique item that Napoleon's troops found at the coast of Nile. It was an engraved stone tablet, and the scholars accompanied with Napoleon when he was in Egypt said that this tablet could trace to ancient Egypt. However, since Napoleon was defeated in Egypt, he couldn't bring the tablet back to France. The British later found this abandoned tablet and treasured it. It was now located in the British Museum called the Rosetta Stone. So what happened later is that in one night, Napoleon rowed a small vessel to break through the English blockade and return to France. His defeats in Egypt didn't leak out. Napoleon saw chances and seized political power from the government. So what happened is that the soldiers under Napoleon's command surrounded the National Convention and drove out most of its members. Napoleon said, "Let's have a vote." Since Napoleon was more popular, undoubtedly Napoleon won the election. He became actually it's not called the dictator, but he's essentially the dictator of the republic.
He became like the emperor eventually.
The emperor since happened later in 1804.
Yeah.
He's not only the dictator. Yeah. Actually, do you guys know Beethoven?
Beethoven?
The German conductor. So he wrote a song. It was essentially for Napoleon for his heroic actions, and it's called 贝多芬第三交响曲, also known as 英雄交响曲. I don't know if you guys know it, but this sonata was actually named after Napoleon, but since Napoleon later throned him as the emperor, and Beethoven was so pissed, so he changed his name into a hero sonata. Well, anyway, after Napoleon gained power, he could focus his energy on restoring order in France. There were many accomplishments he had done, such as preserve the goal of revolution, set up an efficient method of tax collection, established a national banking system, ended corruption in bureaucracy, and most importantly, his work of a comprehensive system of law, known as the Napoleonic Code. So this code spread everywhere in the occupied zone by Napoleon. Many countries now still adopted the main ideas of the Napoleonic Code and transcribed it into their own constitution. So, in 1804, Napoleon decided to make himself emperor, and the French voters supported him again. On December 2nd, 1804, dressed in a splendid robe of purple violet, Napoleon walked down the long aisle of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Everyone was so happy, but Napoleon's mother was not so happy. When others asked her how she think of her own son becoming the emperor of France, she said, "I hope this will last." So on land, Napoleon's Grand Army forced the ruler of Austria and Prussia and Russia to sign peace treaties, and these successes also enabled him to build the largest European empire since that of Roman and Franks. So actually, these are the land either controlled by Napoleon or alliance with Napoleon. and Finland is essentially almost all of Europe instead of England and Portugal. So Napoleon had planned carefully. He assembled a huge army at French coastline and took possession of thousands of ships to carry his soldiers. He was ready to wipe out Britain from the map. It was at this very moment one of Napoleon's spies reported that Austrians planned to attack France. Napoleon wanted to defeat Austria once and for all, and deal with the English. Napoleon he marched his troops. We could see on the map he marches troops from the coastline of France into the into Rhineland area within 2 days. So Napoleon then surprises attacked the Austrian army and won the campaign. While Napoleon was winning a European continent, he lost one major battle on the ocean, the Battle of Telfaga. This naval defeat, however, was more important than all of his victories on land. The British commander, Nelson, again, the one who defeated Napoleon in Egypt, he was proven to be a brilliant mind in warfare at sea, as Napoleon was in warfare on land. In a bold attack, he destroyed the powerful French fleet and captured many French ships. So we could see that actually the French fleet has more ships than the British fleet, but still the English sailors, because they are more well trained, they still won the campaign. Despite Napoleon's huge military strength advantage, he eventually lost everything he once possessed. There was some mistakes he had made in his military career. The most important one was invading Russia. It was one major reason why Napoleon lost.
He lost like all of his army,
Yes, he lost everything.
almost.
Mhm.
So how to like a tiny bit of his army.
Well, he was actually exiled to the island of Helena, and he still have a house on the island.
Like a lot. That was way after.
But before that, he held an empire. So
Yeah.
essentially, the European monarchs, they didn't kill Napoleon.
They exiled him to an island near the Europe or something. is the teacher.
I think the host on Gmail, the person, the teacher, said that it was discontinued, so I'm just gonna end the meeting.